Let's get started here with Smackdown. Vinny, kick it off. Let's get the show on the road.
Smackdown was below average this week. Hunter came out to open the show. Crowd loved him. Said he was, the more he tried to fix things, the more screwed up they got. He was about to address the World Championship here on SmackDown when...
By the way, you know what's funny about this below average show with Hunter coming out?
What's that?
It did a huge rating.
That is funny. Did you watch the show?
I did watch the show.
It did not seem terribly newsworthy or exciting.
Well, Triple H is back.
I guess that's it.
Triple H is, in fact, a star and a ratings draw, everybody.
You know, I do have a brother-in-law who's one of the many people who used to watch wrestling, and the first guy he asks about every time is Triple H.
Yeah.
He matters.
He does matter.
He matters. So, yes, he was on the show, and he was adored by the live crowd here. He did briefly address the CM Punk deal from Raw. He skimmed over it here, although he actually made it clear on the following Raw, but... He mentioned in passing CM Punk, I re-signed him late Monday night, and he did not make it nearly clear enough that he had actually signed Punk during the show. It didn't really matter because they...
well, that's because they've got 3 different stories so far.
I see.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Anyway, he was talking here. Christian finally interrupted. He said he was happy Hunter was in charge because it meant Teddy Long wasn't running the show anymore. Hunter said that Vince McMahon had fostered an environment where people were encouraged to interrupt others and step on toes. However...
Sounds familiar.
However...
I got a lot in common with Vince.
I don't think... No, you do not encourage an environment where people... Excuse me. You do not foster an environment where people are encouraged to interrupt others. You foster an environment where you are encouraged to interrupt everyone.
That's not true. Dave interrupts me constantly.
Actually,
there's about 8 threads on the board now about this very fact.
Yes. I was thinking more about just our own personal relationship.
Sure, and I foster that environment. I'm exactly like Vince McMahon.
All right. Anyway, Hunter said that, unlike Vince, he takes interruptions as a slap in the face, and if you slap him, he will slap back harder. He told Christian that Orton was going to get a rematch for the title at SummerSlam, and just to make sure Christian had no rules violations to bitch about, it would be no holds barred. So Christian started a protest when who should interrupt but Truth, who is technically a Raw guy. They did some comedy. It wasn't funny. Hunter booked Truth against Orton, and he said that he brought someone else from Raw to wrestle Christian, and it was John Morrison, and that match was next. Segment was fine, and as noted, people love Triple H, so there you go.
He ain't going to mean a thing for ratings in about 2 weeks, though.
I was going to say by next week.
Since he's on every single show all the time.
He's on every single show all the time, and he came out here and he just talked. Mm-hmm. It's not like this is a promo of the year or anything. So backstage, Hunter was chatting with Teddy when Zack Ryder interrupted.
Yeah.
Think about this, everyone. Zack Ryder just interrupted Triple H on television. Amazing. Hunter said Zack was harassing him with 15 times a day with different ideas. Zack said, yeah, this is the best one yet. Hunter said, fine, you want to be in the show? You're now Teddy Long's assistant. And he walked away, and Zack was happy, and Teddy Long was sad.
You know, the Zack segments on this show, they were fine, but not in a single one was I begging for more Zack Ryder.
No. He was a completely... He fit in fine as a wacky TV character. He's not anything I can't wait to see until next week. Or the fact that, that he was on 3 or 4 times in the show, and I was not terribly thrilled any time he came on. So Christian wrestled John Morrison. John Morrison, first match back, no build, unannounced.
At 40%. 60%, I'm sorry.
60%. He did fuck up a body slam, which they, on commentary, blamed on his neck injury, which may have been true for all we know. He did bust out a standing Spanish fly at one point.
Hold on a second.
What's that?
So he is wrestling Christian, who probably weighs $195, who is going up for him.
Yeah.
If John Morrison cannot body slam Christian with assistance, then he sure needs to be out of the ring immediately.
Fair enough. Nothing else went wrong, though, and Christian eventually cut him off and hit the kill switch, and there are worse fates than losing a competitive match to the world champion, but this is Morrison's big return, and he lost. He's a loser.
Yeah.
They showed Jinder Mahal and Great Khali enjoying the show.
Well, he lost to the world champion, at least.
I did mention that.
Yeah.
It's better. I would think it would be better to beat a geek than lose to the world champion.
Sure.
All right. Wade Barrett cut a promo in the ring. Josh Matthews told us Wade was savvy and eloquent. Phony. Wade said he came to WWE to make himself a lot of money, but he had lost track of that. He was reminded of his goals when he saw Daniel Bryan waving around his briefcase that should have been Wade's. There were huge Daniel Bryan chants in the crowd. Bryan eventually interrupted. Michael Cole then went ballistic. He was burying Bryan on commentary as he always does, but he was doing this nonstop, repetitive, just rattling off quote-unquote jokes as fast as he could. There was no upside to this. It was not entertaining. Made Bryan look like a dork, pointing out his weaknesses, which is exactly the opposite of what commentators are supposed to do. Just sucked. So he defended himself, Bryan did, to Wade. Wade finally punched him. Then he put his finger in Bryan's face, and Bryan grabbed it and applied the label lock, and Wade tapped out. So aside from the Michael Cole stuff, the stuff in the ring was a fine segment. Michael Cole made it, horrible.
I don't get this whole Michael Cole thing with Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
Listen, if you're Vince McMahon and you think that Daniel Bryan is a geek and a loser and he has no charisma, then why did you bother putting the briefcase on him?
Well, I don't know.
And if you don't think that he's a geek and a loser and a fool, then why are you having your lead commentator repeatedly call him that throughout the show?
I don't know that either.
What purpose? I mean, is Daniel Bryan going to beat up Michael Cole? I don't think so. So what is going to be the culmination of this other than him vomiting at WrestleMania, which I don't need to see?
I have no idea. I don't understand the point of it. It's counterintuitive to me. And Bryan's the worst example of when Cole does this. But he'll do the same thing when the women come out. He'll talk about what a horrible match it's going to be and thank God it's over and stuff. And I don't get it. I don't know why you have the voice of your company. And on SmackDown, make no mistake, he is the voice of the company. I don't understand why he's out there telling everyone how terrible the product is. I don't understand it. Mark Henry was bitching to Teddy Long about not having an opponent. Teddy said nobody wanted to wrestle him. So
it's probably true.
That's just not. It's probably a shred of truth to that. Truth to that. Zack said no problem. He'd get an opponent for Henry. They did a cool video package on Justin Gabriel. He was returning to South Africa as a WWE superstar. Made him look like a friendly guy. Everyone loved him and a real star. And he was telling a story about his dad was a wrestler who died when Justin was 18. And how much it meant to him to go home and have achieved such success. It was a good package that made him look like a total babyface, so I assume he's going to turn.
I think he's been a babyface for like 3 weeks.
He broke up with Heath Slater and nothing has happened. He may have.
I think the idea was he broke up and he's now the babyface.
All right. They could have done a better job of getting to that point, but it's probably going to work out in the long run. Speaking of the women's match that Michael Cole likes to bury, Natalya and Kaitlyn and AJ versus Alicia and Tamina and Rosa. Natalya and Tamina wrestled for a minute. It was great while they got to, and then it fell apart. At one point in this match, Michael Cole told Booker T to get a thesaurus and learn new words.
Yeah.
Vintage, controlled frenzy, must-see superstar, pound and ground attack.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Cole said that someone had to get a thesaurus and learn new words. In 2 minutes, Alicia pinned AJ with an axe kick. Kaitlyn and Rosa did almost literally nothing, so it was not horrible. It was merely useless.
AJ is improving.
Sure.
She's still pretty bad.
And apparently still better than Kaitlyn.
And she still cannot run the ropes to save her life.
Yeah.
No one can from developmental. I say this every single week. Can we get a rope running coach?
I guess not. They showed Mark Henry destroying Big Show at the pay-per-view and Kane last week on SmackDown. So we had Mark Henry versus a mystery opponent. And they announced him several times before he came out. Finally, a very skinny indie geek timidly walked out on stage in fear for his life. We were told his name was Bobby Howard and that he weighed 185 pounds. I don't believe either of these. He changed his mind and turned to go to the back when Zack appeared and gave him a pep talk and sent him down to the ring. He got in the ring, and within 5 seconds, Mark Henry tree-slammed him, kicked him, and hit the World's Strongest Slam. Awesome. He then killed some time for a while, hit another World's Strongest Slam, and then a back-breaker for the pin. This is an A-level squash. He grabbed a chair.
I like that he's got a new finish.
A back-breaker.
Yeah.
It's awesome. He grabbed a chair, was going to Pillmanize the dude's leg. Teddy came running down to the ring frantically, saying he couldn't let Henry compete anymore. Nobody wanted to face him. This wasn't helping. They were already facing one lawsuit and couldn't take another. At this point, who should interrupt but Sheamus?
Yep.
He sauntered down to the ring all jolly. He said if Teddy was looking for a fella to fight Mark Henry, he'd do it. He told an Irish folktale that involved fairies, a magic wand, and a bag of crap. I assume this is not a real Irish folktale. The crowd was chanting his name. The two big, scary men had a stare down. And then Sheamus hit him. And Henry charged, but Sheamus low-bridged him. Sheamus grabbed a chair and dared Henry to get in the ring. They stared down for a while, and finally Henry went to the back. This was so awesome up to the stare down, and then they just did too much stuff.
It was fine.
It was fine.
He just came after him and got low-bridged. It was fine.
I was way more into it in the middle than it was at the end. Speaking of things I was not into, the Usos wrestled David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy, who are still the tag team champs. Finish to this sucked. Otunga slammed one of the Usos off the apron, then threw his limp body into the ring. The referee was distracted by this dead man apparently trying to interfere and tried to roll the limp body out. At this point, the other Uso was thrown off the top rope, and McGillicuddy hit a neckbreaker and pinned him. This all went 3 minutes, did nobody any favors, and the tag team champions are still geeks.
This was not much of a match. I like the Usos.
I do too.
Otunga and McGillicuddy as tag champs, I don't know. I just don't know what to say. Why do you even have tag team championships?
I've been saying that for a long time, but legitimate question. Are they worse champions than Santino and Vladimir?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Because at least people cared about Santino and Vladimir.
They cared about the Cobra. All right.
I think the Usos would be fine tag team champions.
They'd be hell of a tag team champions.
David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy, the two most vanilla guys in the company. Even though I have to hear on Monday everyone talking about how Otunga just really has it. Yeah. Still trying to figure out what that is, aside from a physique. Because I can't think of a single other thing. A physique and a wife who isn't even on WWE television. There
was a point, I forget if it was here on Monday, but Cole was listing the things he liked about Otunga, and his wife was one of them.
You know, maybe Otunga does have it. But you know what? We never see that on television, ever. So they need to stop talking about it.
Yeah. Zack wanted to book Ezekiel Jackson versus Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase. Teddy was upset about this, but Zack said, "Don't worry, bro. I talked to them all. They're happy with it." And Teddy Long just stewed. Truth cut a great promo about how to kill a snake. Talked about stepping on its head and peeling his skin off, and said tonight the Viper was going to get got. This is fantastic. Ezekiel Jackson versus Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase. It was as bad as you would think. They beat up Zeke for a while. He hit some body slams. Something got fucked up. Cody pinned Zeke with Crossroads. Sucked.
This Zeke thing is not working.
No, he is not as vanilla as Otunga and McGillicuddy, but he's much worse.
I thought the multiple body slam gimmick was going to get over, because it kind of got over the first time he ever did it. And now it's not over. I don't know why.
Mainly because it's kind of funny the first time you see a guy who does do a bunch of body slams.
Maybe if he kept doing more. Maybe if in one match he did 50 body slams, he'd be over.
It's worth a try because he's not over right now.
Yeah. That's what they should do. I just had a great idea. They need to do, first off, whatever you're doing with the mic stand, stop. Second off, what they need to do with a guy like Zeke is he needs to go on a streak like Goldberg, but it's a streak of body slams. And you don't tell anybody this is going to happen. The fans got to figure it out organically on their own. But he starts with a body slam in a match. And to kick it off, it's got to be like a big guy. Maybe he slams the Big Show.
Again.
One time. So then the next match, maybe he's with Kane, and he slams Kane 2 times in a row. And then in the third match, he slams David Otunga 3 times. And you keep doing this on TV, and you hope that people start bringing signs. You know, now he's on 16 body slams on Zack Ryder. And then the next week on SmackDown, he's at 17 body slams. What do you think about that?
It's actually not the worst idea you've ever had.
I mean, Jesus, at least it's something for this poor guy. And then we'd have to just see how many body slams can this man do?
He got over the 40s, and he's just
even with help
blown up, yes.
Yeah.
Jinder Mahal cut a promo for some reason on the crowd from the luxury box. He rambled on in not English for a while, and then the Great Khali tried to get the crowd to chant Jinder Mahal's name. I have always thought that Great Khali was mumbling mainly because his English was not very good. But here he was speaking his native tongue, and you could still barely understand him. I believe at one point he was trying to say Jinder Mahal, and it came out Ginderbog.
Yeah.
The crowd chanted USA at them.
Can you imagine if, like, they started that streak right now, and what do we got, like 24 weeks until WrestleMania or something like that? I don't know how many. But at WrestleMania, everyone knows it's going to be number... Maybe they could even... Oh, God damn it. They could have, like... they could have set it up so it'd be 28 body slams at WrestleMania 28. And he'd go out there in his match, and with 70,000 people there counting along for 28 body slams in a row on Zack Ryder, they'd both be over at the end.
I'm picturing someone like Santino cutting a promo about how Ezekiel Jackson, you body slammed your last opponent 19 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
You won't body slam me 20 times in a row.
Yeah. And then at the end, one of these days, he's just got to get fucked by somebody. Like he's going for number 50, and at 49, someone slides in and clips his leg, and the guy falls on him and pins him. Oh, yeah. That'd be awesome.
This is not the worst idea.
Yeah.
Truth versus Orton. Christian came out to watch. They had a very, very forgettable match because I forgot everything. Truth proceeded to hit Orton with a plastic bottle of water. This caused Orton to snap and attack Truth for the DQ. Stupid.
Well, they did it on purpose because there will be no DQs at the SummerSlam.
Yeah, there was at least that point to it. So Christian was watching all of this in fear. Orton destroyed Truth. He hit an RKO on the announce table, which didn't break again. So he went back to try.
Well, it's an enforced table now.
I see.
Because the idea is it doesn't break, it doesn't break, it doesn't break, it doesn't break, and then at SummerSlam, it breaks when he does it to Christian this time.
Mm-hmm. That sucks for Orton.
Yeah.
I did not know that was their plan. It's
just a bump on a table. He'll be all right.
Yeah, it's not fun. So he eventually, he did the RKO to Truth on the table again. The table still didn't break, and that was that. SmackDown is usually a missable show, but at least it's fun. This week it was missable and mostly boring.
Yeah, I wasn't into this week's show. I fell asleep. I'm joking.
I wouldn't blame you at all.
I've actually never fallen asleep during a wrestling show in my entire life. And I know that Dave has, because I've been there. During SmackDown, actually. It was like 2:40 in the morning. And he was like, let's go watch SmackDown. And I'm thinking, why the fuck would we want to go watch SmackDown at 2:40 in the morning on a Friday night? But we did. And, I wanted to sleep, but, Dave, he's a machine. Let's go watch SmackDown at 2:40 a.m. So I went downstairs, turned on the SmackDown on the big TV. He's on one end of the couch, I'm on the other, watching this show, and literally like 10 minutes in, I all of a sudden hear snoring. And so I went upstairs and went to bed.
There you go.
And for all I know, he just slept there the whole night. Yeah. So I outlasted Dave Meltzer. Write that down if I should go first. All right.